Bushcraft 412 and another quick Mtech knife review. This one here is the MT-526BN. This is a cheap little knife. I think I got for around $7 or $8. And as far as Mtech goes, this is my least favorite knife I've gotten so far. I had high hopes for this one, but it fell short. And if you haven't seen my Mtech video, you know, where I kind of talk about them, an overview of their knives. I call it Mtech Garbage or Gold. Check it out. This one goes into the garbage bin. Not a good knife. As far as Mtechs go, the sheath is actually one of the better sheaths I've seen for one of these knives. Nylon Cordura. It's got a snap instead of Velcro, which I like. And it has a little kind of retaining clip on the back, which is neat, you know, as a boot knife. Very solid, good belt loop to it. Really like the sheath. Just a shame the knife stinks. So let's talk about this bad boy. This is a dagger design with a roughly 5-inch blade. And it is kind of a take on the K-bar. And then it has the fake leather washer handle with the pinned in pommel. You know, you can see the bit of the tang there on the end. Probably an aluminum finger guard. It feels very light and flimsy, like I can almost bend it. So I would say it's aluminum. But other than that, the handle actually fits about perfect in my hand. Could actually stand to be a little bit longer, you know, for if you want to do those kind of grips using the finger guard. But, you know, handle's not the big problem with this blade. Big problem with this blade, thickness. This blade is so thin, I could bend this. As you can see, this is just using one finger. I could, you know, if I put some gloves on, I could snap this blade right in half. Way too thin. Especially for a dagger design. This would most likely fail in a self-defense situation. And as far as Mtech, you know, as you can see, there's a lot of problems with the finish on this one, which I don't care about the finish, but I just wanted to point it out. It does have a bit of a fuller running down the center, but it's just not enough. The blade is really just way too thin on this. It could very potentially snap under hard use, and that's really unfortunate, because if you double the thickness on this, this would probably be an amazing knife. Really a cool kind of look and design to it, and it's a fake kind of K-bar look with the dagger. You know, it's like a K-bar dagger, you know, and I thought it looked cool and it might be good, you know, just too thin. Way too thin, and it's just too big a flaw to ignore, because the main purpose of this knife would be self-defense. And if a self-defense knife isn't thick enough to be used for self-defense, you got a problem. So, had potential, just, you know, didn't quite make it. Edge, dull, you know, very dull. Which is fine with a dagger, you know. I could sharpen it up anyway. This is, you know, 440 stainless steel, so this would sharpen up very quickly. It would probably take an edge, no problem, but I'm not even going to bother, because this is something that's would never get used anyway. This is pretty much a throwaway knife. This is something, you know, if I'm goofing around one day and, you know, maybe I'll kind of do a video and destroy this thing, you know, stab into a piece of wood and watch this thing break into pieces. But, you know, for $8, you know, yeah, you know, with Mtech, you know, you can't guarantee a winner every time. Unfortunately, this is not one of them. I really wanted it to be, because I really do like some of the Mtech knives. I really like, you know, the idea of the washer, you know, the leather washer handle dagger, but sorry, too thin for me. You know, not to say you couldn't use it, or it couldn't be something you could put in your car or whatever, but, you know, this is nothing. It would be completely useless in any kind of wilderness situation, self-defense situation. You're really pushing it. You know, I don't think it's a safe knife. Too thin. Too thin. So I just recommend, even, you know, just for looks, I really wouldn't recommend it, because any temptation to use this thing on something could result in tragedy. But, oh well, we move on. You know, the Mtechs are hit or miss. I've actually only got one more to do after this, and I'm done with all the Mtechs I bought. In fact, actually, I've only got maybe 1 or 2 knife reviews period, and I have all my knives reviewed. So I know you guys, some of you guys don't like the Mtech reviews, and some of you guys love them. And I'm glad for those guys that enjoy them, because they are, you know, a good budget option for a lot of people. You know, as long as you do pick one of the good ones. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed and appreciate all the support. Bushcraft 412. And once again, we'll show this real quick before we go. Model number is MT-526BN. I know there's another version with a black plastic handle as well, but it looks like the blade is the same thickness, so I'm not even going to bother trying to get one of those.